going to show you how to draw an undersea treasure. Let's get started. You'll need black, white, red, yellow, and I used blue-green for this one. First take the black crayon and we're going to draw the treasure chest. It's very easy. First draw a V that has one long arm and one short arm. And then copy it exactly right above it. Connect from the corners of the V and the edges of the V. There's the treasure box. If I go too fast, you can always pause. And now I'm going to draw the treasure inside. If you don't like it, you can kind of fix it up a little. And the treasure inside is kind of looks like half circles. So we'll start with one in the corner here, add a couple more. They can be different sizes.
Until you feel like there's enough treasure. You might even add like a vase or something. To draw a vase, you can draw an oval and then two curved lines. And make it colored in dark a little at the top. Inside that oval. Now for the lid. The lid is super easy. Off of the corner, you're just going to draw the letter D. And then draw a line. And if it seems like it needs it, you can draw another line there. Okay. Now the corners get a little, like kind of almost a pizza crust on each corner at the bottom. And you can draw some kind of a closure for it, maybe like a U shape with a little line inside. Now we'll color in the lid, mostly black. And color in a little bit at the bottom of each coin or treasure piece. Just a little bit of black for shading. And we're going to grab the white and make some highlights. At the top of the treasure pieces, try not to touch the black. Because if you do, it will get kind of gray and mushy. And add a little highlight here. You can't see it, but you'll be able to see it later when we scrape through. Now we're going to add the little mound that the treasure is sitting on top of. So kind of make a lumpy line going around. This is just like a rock that the treasure chest is sitting on. And then we're going to fill that in with some circle scribbling. So it's just like loopy lines, scribbling, filling it all up. Okay, and now we're going to add the ray of light that's coming out of the treasure box to show how exciting it is that you found treasure under the sea. So I'm going to take the white crayon first, and I'm going to be, well, I'll use the yellow actually. I'm just going to use the yellow to show you where I'm going to put the white. So I start up here and make kind of like a W sunburst going around the treasure. It looks like a W, and then I continue. It's like a spiky line. And then I'm going to take that white, and every time it peaks, I'm going to make a hard scribble with the white. It's a line that goes through that, and you'll see why later. But we got to do this with the white crayon first. Oops, I touched the black. That's okay, it happens. Now, if you start to get too many crayon crumbs on your page, you can hold it over the floor and flick it with your finger to knock them off. I'm going to do that. Alright, now back to that yellow crayon. I'm going to carefully fill in around my treasure and treasure chest and the rock it's sitting on. And this is to kind of protect the yellow area so that I don't touch the black when I'm coloring it in. So I'm going to go all the way around there with that yellow. And now I'm going to kind of scribble coming out of the treasure. Like, I'm kind of following the lines that I drew, the W looking peaked lines, and just make them come out of the treasure. And you can turn your page if that helps you. And that's not too big of a deal if you end up touching the black with the yellow. It'll just make a little bit of a line. That's okay too. So all these scribbly lines should point toward the treasure because we want to show how important it is. How exciting. Alright. And now I'm going to draw the cave that the treasure is inside of. So this part's really easy. It's just like a rock cave, so just straight, jagged lines. Don't make them too detailed or they'll be difficult to color in. Right, there's my little cave. Maybe I'll make it, oops, oh dear, broke my crayon. That's okay. Remember, a broken crayon still works. It's just in two pieces. So now I'm going to color in with the blue-green all of this area, and I'm going to overlap with the yellow. And I'm going to do that in time lapse, so I'm not actually coloring this fast, but it will look very fast.
Now we're going to add some tints and shades. So we're going to grab the black again, and down here at the bottom we're going to start coloring over the top of that blue-green, pressing kind of hard and then pressing lighter just to add a shade. A shade is a darker color that is made by adding black to a color. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And we can do a little bit of this around the edge too. Makes it look a little bit more cave-like, adding these shades. You can see that the blue-green, and the yellow mixed to make a green when I was coloring on top of the yellow with it. And a little bit over here too. And now we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to remember where that white was that we put down, the white scribbles. You're going to take your fingernail and push it hard right through there, and that will add a beautiful highlight. It helps if you turn it so you can make nice straight lines by pushing away from yourself. And this will really make it pop, like that treasure is just radiating out of this little cave. Really shiny. Okay, if you want, you could even try and put like a couple extra little ones down lower. Alright, see how it makes it pop? You can clean off the page if you need to. Now, I'm going to be mixing colors to color in the treasure box. So, I think I'll grab my yellow first and color. And it's going to end up being yellow, red, and then black for shading. And by the way, when we add white to a color, that makes a tint. A lighter color is a tint. So I'm going to finish coloring in some of this and I'll put it in time lapse, so I'm not really coloring this fast. Now I need to color in all those small spaces, the treasure, but I'm going to show you a trick to get your crayon sharp and clean again. Grab another piece of paper and turn your crayon kind of sideways and keep turning it. See, I'm rotating it, rolling it between my fingers. And when I do that, it sharpens it into a point and it gets it nice and clean again. All right, now I'm ready to color in the treasure. So I'm going to try my best not to touch the black until last. We'll see how well I can do. Because once I do touch it, I will be making shades. So I will do that in just a second, but right now I want it to stay clean. And color in those little corner bits. Alright, and now I'm going to touch the black and make it have shades. When it touches the black, it blends to make the different shades, the darker parts. We'll blend up here on that edge. Alright, and now one more cool trick. Remember we had that white crayon, so to reveal the tints, a highlight, I'm going to scrape away where I remember putting the white crayon. You might find something sharper than my fingernail. If you have something like a paper clip, I don't know if that would work, but you could try it. Alright, so I have some little highlights, and now I'm going to work on the edges of the cave up here. So I'm going to go ahead and, just like I did on the rays, I'm going to add a little white. I think I'll just do it on kind of the right side of every turn, so not every spot is getting it, just like every other spot. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring in that outside bit, and I'll probably be mixing some colors. Remember, this is time lapse, so I'm not actually coloring this fast. Pause it if you need more. Alright, and last we're going to add back in the highlights. So remember where you put the white, and add some little scratches. And it makes it look like that treasure is just shining, radiating light. It's easy to imagine you're an underwater explorer and you've just come upon this gorgeous treasure in a cave.